Talking about my favorite show, The 100. This is a review for The 100, Season 5, Episode 13, entitled Damocles, Part 2. So I really did enjoy this episode. It was my favorite this entire season. Now, I won't say that it was my favorite episode of The 100 ever. I don't think it deserves that much praise, but definitely the best episode they had this whole season. So in the last episode, not a lot happened. It was just about moving people into place for this episode, and we see how that turns out with Maddie. They take her back to the grounder camp, and they say, hey, she's got the black blood. She'll be your new commander. Forget about Octavia. And Octavia, right away, when they get to the grounder camp, there's a lot of grounders who want to put her in the ground because she fucked everything up in the last episode and got pretty much all of them wiped out in one battle. But she decides, you know what? I'm just going to give in to Maddie's power to show everyone, hey, she's a new commander. I ain't got any problems with it. I'm resigning as the Red Queen. So, everyone wants to get to the valley. They have to go through that Death Gorge where they've got all the positions with machine guns. And Maddie's like, I don't know how we're supposed to handle this. So she accesses her memories of the other commanders, and she comes up with a plan where they send the rover, the armored little truck that they have, and, Raven, Murphy, no, not Raven, Emery, Murphy, Echo, and Bellamy. They're able to take out the sonic cannons and kill a few of the machine gun people. And, this clears the way for the Grounders army just to swarm up into the valley. And basically, the prisoners, they surrender. Maddie wanted to kill him at first, but Bellamy talks her out of it. Meanwhile, up on the ship, they're torturing Raven and Shaw to get them to comply so they can unlock the missiles. And they have a showdown with Clark and DeSouza and Paxton. Clark's got the gun to DeSouza's belly, saying, hey, you don't do what I'm going to say, I'm going to shoot your kid. Paxton says, you know what, I'm fucked. I'm going to fuck everyone else over. And he decides to drop the cargo down on the valley, which is just going to napalm the whole place because their cargo is, of course, that fuel that, you move it the wrong way, it just boom, blows everything up. And they realize that once he drops it, it's too late to stop it, so they have to get everyone out of the valley and back to on the transport ship, back to the mothership, and they do that. And, Paxton, they kill that character off and a few others. And yeah, I really thought they just rushed through all of that shit. I mean, they just zoomed on by. And we get to the best part of the episode where, okay, so now the valley has been torched. There is nowhere left on the planet that's habitable to life. What are they going to do? They can live on the ship, but the ship only has so much fuel. Food. So let's put everyone in hyper sleep, which I thought was going to happen. That everyone was going to go to sleep. And sure enough, they do that, except for Monty and Harper. They stay on board just to monitor everything. And we find this out when Clark wakes up 100 years later. And who wakes her up but Jordan. Who is Jordan? He is Monty and Harper's son. So we got a new character. And through him, we find out that Monty and Harper, they just lived their lives on the ship the best they could for just decades. They had a kid. They grew. He grew up. They raised him. Then they put him into hypersleep. And we find out that Monty, when he was monitoring it, he realizes the shit in the valley is never going to grow back. We're fucked. And you just see through these videos, kind of like in Interstellar, where him and Harper keep getting older and older. At some point, Harper died out, and then, Monty, he was an old man by himself, and then he tells, Bellamy and Clark, who the first that they've waken up, that, hey, he figured out a different plan, because he accessed the logs to the Elegus 3, that's the ship that disappeared. That's been a big mystery, and he found out that they realized that the Earth was going to be fucked at some point anyhow, so they took off to another planet. And we get to see, they look out the window, they see this Earth-like planet, and it has 2 stars, And that's how the season ends, with Clark and Bellamy looking at this new planet which is where they're going to go in season 6, which I just thought was awesome. Like I said, this is my favorite episode of the season just because of that ending. Although, to be honest, I'm kind of mad they killed off Monty and Harper, and that their deaths were mostly off-screen. They just got old and died. Because they have not done shit with those two this season, and it kind of annoyed me because I've always been a big Monty fan. I've always been said, hey, give Monty a story. And he doesn't get one to the end, and now the character is dead. So yeah, I wasn't too big of a fan, but I do think that their story at the end there was pretty touching, heartwarming, and just made me cry. Like, no! And like I said, that ending with the new planet, and you just kind of wonder, well, are they going to land? Are they going to find the crew of that other ship? Well, their descendants, that is. What kind of crazy creatures are going to be a planet? It seems like season 6 is going to be pretty good. So, yeah, I did enjoy the ending of this episode, but everything up to it was just so rushed and pointless. It's like, meh. And seeing how this is the season finale, I guess I'll just review season 5 altogether, which I was just bored with. It just, these new characters that they introduced in season 4, when you see the ship coming down and you know that they're from the asteroid belt, ooh, that sounds interesting, but it never paid off. None of the new characters were interesting in the whole dynamic that, Octavia had gone crazy and they were going to fight for this valley. It just kind of felt like, once again, they were painting themselves into another corner where you didn't see how the human race was going to survive. Now, at the end of this, they give you this magnificent scene. You think, oh, yeah, this could be interesting. But this season, leading up to it, it just bored me. It's storylines just, they felt kind of repetitive and just not exciting. I think it all went to shit when they decided that they were going to nuke the planet again at the end of season 3 and throughout season 4 and this season. I lacked any interest in it. But I am looking forward to season 6. I don't know if I'm going to be doing reviews for it because I just kind of gotten tired of doing the TV reviews because I just sort of seem to tell you what happens in the episode and I never discuss really whether or not I like it or not. But we'll have to see. And until then, that's all I got.